Hi, my name is Lexis Bennett, and I'm going to be doing my website redesign proposal on Yale's University School of Art. I chose this website for two specific reasons. The first being that it is not responsive or mobile friendly, and the second reason being that there are multiple usability issues just throughout the site. Overall, with the design, I would like to create a more modern, clean look overall. There is quite a bit going on currently in the background. There's a lot of uses of GIFs as a background instead of just like a plain background or a photo. And this is not just on one page, but on pretty much all of them. And there are a few just unfriendly user problems with this. First off, it is kind of distracting from the main content when we should be focusing on the area over here. It's hard not to look at what's going on back here. And this also does cause some eye strain when you're trying to read different parts of the site because there's a lot going on in the background. So I would kind of just like to make the background look simpler. And a lot of the content itself is kind of choppy. It's kind of all separated on these different boxes. There's scroll boxes within the actual web page, and I don't think that is necessarily the best, and this is not the best way that this content could be organized. So I would definitely like to clean that up overall and just make the readability the best that it can be, because overall this site is an academic site. It's for students, it's for multiple people to visit. They do have this really cool idea going on with this anti-art movement, but because it is an academic site and it is for the students and for the public, I don't know if this is technically the best way to go. I would also like to tie in more of the Yale University branding. When looking at the university's actual site, it is very clean, very modern, very user-friendly, and I would like to bring more of that aspect over here while still also keeping this kind of fun tone that they have going on. Now, I think that they should do this because responsive web design really does help out in the end. It creates a more user-positive experience, and especially if it's going to be across multiple devices, because in today's world we're always using tablets, phones, and computers. It's not always just a computer, so it's important to make a responsive website. That way the user can always have a positive experience no matter what device they're using or where they are. And it also increase the site traffic, so in the end it'll create a more user-friendly experience, and then more people want to visit the site or maybe stay on a little longer. And I think just adding a few small changes will help that out a lot. I know there's a lot of controversy right now that is around exactly how the site was designed. And also with their content, I would recommend that they only use the content that relates to things. There are some very random things throughout the site, so I feel like they should really just cut back just a little and only include what's necessary. And specifically for the SEO, I would want them to make sure that their photos are all labeled appropriately, that everything kind of just relates back to create more traffic to this site. Now, when it comes down to improving the usability, I would like to go ahead and definitely put the responsive as the first priority, just to make this site more responsive in general and definitely make it mobile friendly. That way we're at least hitting that big priority right there. I also noticed that there is no way to really link back home, so once you visit another page, there's not really like a logo that you can click that'll bring you back. You just gotta use this navigation. And that leads me into the navigation. Just in general, a lot of the wording on here is all shoved together. I think just adding spaces into that, maybe cleaning it up a bit. I feel like some of these links could be under just one general link and then could be sublinks to take you to the page within that. So I think that would just make it a little more easy for the user to find what they're looking for quicker. I also would like to reorganize the content. Like I mentioned earlier, a lot of it is very choppy and close together, small. I think just making that bigger and a little more organized would definitely help this site out. They do not have a footer, and so I would like to add that in just to help them navigate a little more and just to have that information like most websites do. They have a footer just to keep that consistency across the web. And I also noticed, for kind of being a very anti-art site, I feel like if they're going to go this direction, we at least need like a search bar to be able to find content quickly. So I think adding in a search bar is definitely a good idea here. I wanted to kind of take a moment to go over the page that I'm going to specifically redesign besides the home page, and I decided to do the admissions page. A lot of this is kind of all over the place. There's specific courses, like if you want to look at the requirements for your course, you just specifically find it out of this list here and then just read through the information. There's a lot of things that could just be really cleaned up and set out a little differently. This page is especially important for students who are wanting to look into this school, just to find out how to get in, what they need to do, and portfolio and things like that. So it's definitely important to go ahead and clean up this page. That way users can find their information better and maybe link to the other parts of the page that are also very important for students who would just be starting out at the school. And so the last part I want to talk about is just if we were to use WordPress as a content management system. So one of the great things about WordPress is once the website's created, often it is very easy to go back in and update or edit the content without actually needing a web designer. So a lot of the times they'll just give you the information and you can log in. You can just make very easy edits to the site with little to no problems. And then the last part is that WordPress has really great support behind it. There are a lot of really cool features about it, and there's just a whole team of support behind it. So if you have any problems with your site, they're always willing to help, and that's why it's just so great. And so overall, I would just really like to bring this site to make it more clean and more user-friendly, and definitely work on getting it responsive.